Hello. Hi there. Welcome to the Beebodi Marketplace, where we treat, support, and invigorate our human bodies. My name is Kayla Naturalby. I'm the founder of the Beebodi Marketplace, and you are in the right place. All things health and wellness. Here on this live Beebodi Talks podcast, we have a guest that I wanted you to both hear and see. This is a special experience that we want to offer as part of our audio share, where which you can participate. So whether you're tuning in live with us here in studio or tuning in a little bit later, I invite you to do a couple of things. Really set your environment for this experience. Make sure that you have peace and quiet, maybe access to some fresh air or whatever makes you feel comfortable. Make space, make room. And we always love for you to take notes if you'd like to do that, written or add a tab or pull up on your apps, whatever you need to do to really take in this moment. Our guest today goes by the name of Brennan, and he has a special, very unique meditation system that he's devised on his own. He's no stranger to meditation, to holisticism, to spirituality, to energy work. In fact, he's been doing this for many years, touching thousands upon thousands of persons, spirits, and souls across the world. So today, he is here with us to share this system and to give you an experience. So without further ado, I'd like to invite our guest for today to join us in the space.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the very wonderful introduction.
Sure, my pleasure. Welcome, Brennan. Welcome, welcome. We're so happy to have you. We're so blessed to have you with us and excited for your share today. So, why don't you start by just telling us where your coordinates are? And it could be globally, it could be wherever you are in your life. Where are you? And then who are you?
Great. So, currently, physically, I am in Acapulco, Mexico, and I am in this place in my business and in my professional life where I'm really taking off. I think I spent a lot of my time before this trying to find my path. I know a lot of people might have struggled with something similar, and a lot of the paths that are out there didn't really fit for me. So, trying to carve out my own way to share my knowledge with clients through my work, kind of gathering all of the information and the tools and the techniques that have worked for me and creating this whole platform and trying to get that off of the ground is really where I'm at, trying to position myself to be able to have the greatest impact and the greatest reach, because I really do believe that the ability to understand your own energy and work with it is something that should be accessible to everyone. So I am really working really hard to make sure that so many people can access that. And then who am I? I am a queer, colorful, mixed race kid from Los Angeles, California. I've had so many life experiences. I've been all around the world. I've been to 26 countries. And I would say that I'm someone who's thirsty for life, and I'm excited to experience all that life has to give me, whether it is a high or a low or a mid, whether it's a challenge, a struggle, or a moment of elation. I genuinely am a sponge, just excited every moment that I'm alive on this earth and every experience, to just take it in. And I just want to be someone who embodies that and helps people to see that there's just so much to enjoy here in this realm and in this life.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Yes, yes, yes. So, listeners, you can tell that Brennan has taken his time to really sit with this information, to really sit with his experiences, and to bring those encounters into something really unique of which he's going to share with us soon. So, we brought Brennan into this space because, just like he said, there. are a number of people in this year 2022, year of balance, year of harmony, year of just coming together, feeling like they're ready. I'm ready. I'm on the edge of my seat. I've been planning, I've been thinking, I've been in a creative space, tapping into virtual Zoom workshops and exploring a little bit of meditation here and there. Maybe you've taken a gyrokinesis class or gyrotonic with me. Maybe you have been intrigued by a retreat. So Brennan is an example of in this space and in any space really how you do have access as he stated, you do have access to your power. You just need to know how to place it and what to do with it. And so hopefully he can help us to disseminate some of those fears. A lot of people are dealing with fear and uncertainty, doubt, when they want to go deeper into this work. So, Brandon, what are your thoughts about that? How did you know that meditation and energy work and healing was for you?
Well, it's a really great question, and I think that fear is a really interesting topic to bring up because as a queer person, I really feared my own nature. And it took me a long time to really just embrace my nature. And when you realize that energy is simply in your nature, we are energetic beings. You cannot separate energy from anything that we do. There's nothing really to fear. You're fearing yourself. And what I think creates that fear is all of the mythology and all of the mysticism around energy. So, what I love to do is I like to break it down in a very practical sense. Energy is simply the capacity to do something. And all of our cells have either potential or kinetic energy. It's either stored in a potential state or it's kinetic. So, even the ability to think, am I cut out for this? Requires energy. There's a lot of processes that are going on in the background, like you have to be breathing, you have to be alive, your blood has to be flowing in order for that thought to take place. So everything that we do is already energetic. It's just that our awareness of the energetic nature is not there. We're not, and just because we're not aware of something doesn't mean it's not happening. I'm not aware of how my heart um, pumps. I'm not aware of how my digestion separates what needs to go where. Just because I'm not aware, I don't know what's happening, doesn't mean it's not. So it's really just about tuning into what's already taking place on an energetic level, whether or not you're aware of it. And I think when you just let go of all of the mythology, when you let go of all of the mystic kind of, I think people get afraid of the dauntingness of the concepts of meditation and spirituality. And you can bring it down to a really embodied personal experience. Then it helps you to dispel those fears because really what it's about is it's just about embracing and really loving yourself and seeing how that self works on an energetic level.
Mm, Ashe. Agreed. Yes, 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 yes. I love your mentioning of the embodying. That is so key. It's so important. It's very clear the pandemic has showed us that we need to reconnect with our body and our energetic body as well. It's been so inspiring, Brennan, to see. I know you've been in Southeast Asia, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been so inspiring to see Americans starting to pick up the pace and get out there and start walking and biking and just take on this resurgence of connection to the body when we were trapped inside. And so now we have this next level of first access and, awareness and all the other things that can really help us to come into a practice, a regimen, a lifestyle, a rhythm that we can take ownership of. Um, and,
Exactly.
and then I also love how you mentioned the mythology that comes up quite a bit again for Westerners because we have such a modge podge of cultures and access to information here. Sometimes it's like, well, which one do I go with? What is for me? It's, Jimmy up the road is a Buddhist, and then Sharon is a Christian. And I really like the posture of meditation that Buddhists Buddhism offers, but at the same time, I want to hold fast to this. So you're really speaking the language that our listeners and our viewers need to hear about just breaking away from fear and understanding what access is all about. So with that being said, why don't you share with us what it is that you have created that is that's practical and that's unique to you?
Yeah, and what stood out to me in what you just said was about how, we have this hodgepodge of cultures and ideologies, and there's like the Buddhist, and then there's the this, and then there's that. And at the end of the day, no matter what we believe, we all breathe the same. We all process food the same. You put a Buddhist man in the sunlight and a Christian man in the sunlight, they will burn the same, right? And so when we look at energy as a natural process in the body, it is beyond identification and it is beyond ideology and concept. It exists in a realm that is beyond that. So, what energy conscious meditation is about, it's about tapping into the natural system. So, like cardiovascular system, musculoskeletal system, we work with them, and there's many modalities to work with them, but there's still one universal musculoskeletal system. And we can trust that that system is pretty consistent across most bodies. And so, even though we can try many different modalities to work with that system, there's one system. So, when you go directly to the system and you know how to get the system into a state where it can be in a state of balance and equilibrium, that's essentially energy conscious meditation. It's working directly with the energy system. It's you being able to understand where does the energy of thinking come from. If certain thoughts are there and they're very prevalent, whether they're anxious thoughts or they're self-deprecating thoughts, and certain emotions are there, and they're emotions that hold you down or pull you back, whether they're like self-doubt or insecurities, or they're emotions that you need less of or you need more of, knowing where, how does the body generate the actual energy required for those emotions to exist, and then
Mhm.
how do you then balance the energy. And so meditation is a state, and it's like we are like a radio tower, and meditation's a channel that the radio can tune into. But like if your antennas are all bent and broken, it's like back in the day you're trying to, but the channel is just there and it's constant. So what energy conscious meditation is about, it's about learning how to tune your energetic instrument so that you can access the frequency of meditation. And so some of that is about removing that interference, that white noise that is the mind, that is the emotions. And so what we do is when we work with the energy system, we go directly to the source of those thoughts and we say, shh, calm down, be quiet. So now those thoughts don't even have a battery. So they can't even draw the energy that they need to distract you or to get in your way, or the emotions. So we're working with the energy, which is a part of and integrated into every energetic, emotional, or mental state that we might have. So that's what this process is about.
That's amazing. And it makes me think about this very popular, common way of thinking, which is that we have good energy and we have bad energy. What does that actually mean? Some people say this all the time, oh, no bad energy, or, only good vibes, or
No,
only there's he's like
no,
it's deeper
not
than that.
here. Not here. No. I'm actually very against the good vibes only. Like it's become like a red flag for me. I'm like, if good vibes only, not here, not today. I say come as you are. Come with all of it. Because really what we find is a fundamental value in a lot of spiritual practices is there is no separation. If you believe in a wholly, complete, complex existence, then you must also believe that all states have a purpose. And so I believe that anger has a purpose. I believe that grief, that pain, that sadness has a purpose. And when we go back to the first question about fear, a lot of it is we're so afraid to love the parts of ourselves that we are not willing to love, the parts that we don't see as lovable. And a lot of that is the parts that we judge, the bad vibes. But to me, it's more about is this energy having control over you? And so what I see is like we're driving in a car, and in my car, I am in the seat. I, meaning myself, my most aligned self. And in the passenger seat is my ego, and in the back is my pain, and in the other side is this. And guess what? I got to take all of them to the destination because my pain is going to keep me from making the same mistakes. My ego is going to keep me focused on the future and cognizant of my goals and my ideals. But what's a problem is when the pain is like, I want to drive, and they reach over and they take the steering wheel, and then I'm not any longer in control. And so, really, what it's about is it's about bringing them all into the car, creating that space, but saying, you're here and I will listen to you, but I am in the driver's seat and I will be the one that's going to get us to the destination. That's what it's about. You know, we need all of those parts of ourselves to kind of get there. So it's really not about releasing bad vibes, but it's about balancing. And balance looks different for everyone. One person might really need a boost in confidence. One person might need to really humble themselves down. One person might really need to feel their pain, and one person really needs to boost their confidence. So there's no one size fits all. It's really about learning how to have a personalized dialogue with yourself and with your energy. And to me, meditation is truly the ultimate form of meditation. It's just a state of non-judgmental observance. To to observe a moment without judgment, whether that moment includes a little bit of anger or it includes a little bit of grief, to be able to let that moment pass and be, like they always say, like a cloud passing through the sky, to be able to have that power is really the true freedom that people are missing.
Mm, hmm. But it's there. It is
It's there,
there.
yes.
Yes, yes. I love that analogy, your shares. I love it all because it speaks directly to the needs of people today. Another aspect that's come up so often, Brennan, during the pandemic when we were all shut down and then kind of transitioning back into life, you know, is that people really struggled to sit with themselves. They really, really struggled with that.
Absolutely.
It's like, well, what do I do? It's just me here by my, what do you mean I'm sit with my thoughts? What does that, and it's just, it's a rush. It's a whole slew of unnecessary things taking place. So what this system offers, what ECM offers, from my understanding, is again putting you in an ownership position where you can acknowledge what's actually taking place and then start to shift and do things as you need to place it and then move forward with your life. And then when those things recur, you know why they're there, you know what to do with them. I mean, it's a science. It is a science, and
Absolutely.
mm-hmm, yes.
Yeah. And I think it's so true, like that challenge of sitting with ourselves. And it kind of goes back to that question where you were like, where are you at in your life? And it's like, I'm in this place where I'm doing this kind of training where like my whole life I've been socialized, and we go to school and we're trained and trained to be out in the world. We're like, all of our life force, all of our energy is dedicated to this outer world, to like, how do we be of service in our businesses? How do we be good employees? How do we show up at work? How do we show up in school? But then when it comes to showing up for ourselves, we have starved that whole school, of how to be in the business of self, how to be in the service of self. And we even criminalize that. We call it selfish. We call it self-centered, as if choosing oneself. And again, it's not black and white. There's nuance. There's times when it's important not to be selfish. But we've also been conditioned, especially as like working class people, as minorities, as women, as people of color, that our whole existence is here to be in some sort of servitude to something greater or higher than ourselves. And I think when you can, come into balance, it's not about only serving yourself, but it's like we've only known how to do the outer thing, and we've like completely neglected that inner thing. when you can truly, truly know how to be of service to yourself, then you can really actually show up as yourself, the most high vibe version of yourself, as you can say, and you can truly interact and engage with the world with a way that is meaningful and impactful, rather than a way that you're showing up at 60% charge all the time because you're depleted and you don't know how to replenish. So I think COVID, to me, was a great divine slap in the face, and it really made people stop distracting themselves. And it's so easy to distract yourself from everything and just go, go, go. And suddenly people had to face themselves. And I feel lucky that I spent so many years learning how to meditate, because I was like, this is great. I get to sit around and meditate. And everyone else was like, oh, what do I do? And I was like, what? This is great. There's nothing to do. Like, I love it.
Yes. Yes, yes. That's awesome. And so Brennan is also giving us a taste of what he does in the world. Not only is he a guru and an educator and a guide, but he also works in corporate settings. So, if this is clicking with you and you want to dive deeper, but maybe you also want to include this as part of a group experience or share this in a corporate or workspace, he is accessible for sharing and really helping at that level to change really the tone of a lot of this description that really doesn't match the environment that we are working in and we're operating in. And I think for us here in the Beebody Marketplace, we love it. We love to hear about workplace wellness and etc. But I still know for sure that it is a very gray zone for a lot of people. What does it actually look like? How are we balancing our value system as a business with you know being aware and acknowledging the needs of the person, how far do we go, all those things. And so it is necessary. I mean, it's a very old quote, right? You cannot give from an empty vessel, but people do it. I mean, they do it day in and they do it day out. It's amazing. Like,
It's
wow.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's really, and it's really funny the level of competence people can have on all these subjects and all these professions, yet when you ask them about themselves, there's like no competence. I encounter it all the time where it's like, you are a professional. People come to you with so many problems and you're putting out fires every day. But if I ask you, what do you want from life? You're like blank. Like, what do you enjoy? You're like, that's one of the most difficult questions I've ever asked. But you can like repeat the diagnostical statistical manual of psychology, like whatever it is. And so
And
it's
that's that
really interesting.
training. That's that training you were talking about. We are just trained down to the bone, to the point where we're stripped away from self, not in a selfish, greedy, exclusive way, but just self tuning in. And I think as you were speaking, this came to me. I think it also can significantly help us improve our relationships and that socialization that a lot of people struggle with, whether it's at work networking or just in a social environment. If you're able to be really grounded and at peace with yourself, you don't have to feel like you go out there and drink a whole ton or explode with energy to be seen charismatic and attractive and all of these things. You could really be yourself and be at peace and enjoy the time and maybe drop one gem, on a person who you need to. And like, that's the sale or that's the moment or, whatever it is, it starts from that authentic self. I keep hearing that. Woohoo, people, authentic self. What does that mean? What does that mean, y'all?
Right. And I
Yes.
love that. And I think that the last corporate workshop that I did in Vietnam was at BFS headquarters. And so they're like the headquarters of 20 marketed brands in Asia, including like Jansport, Vans, Levi's. And in this office, the 50 workers gathered, and I led this meditation. And the director, the program director, I was like, what did you experience? She was like, if you would have told me that I was going to clear my mind here in this office today, I would have not believed you. And in the 50 years of my life on this earth, I've never experienced anything like that. And so I love that, like when you just do a general meditation, like I told you, that meditation's like a peak pose. And so if you don't warm up your body and stuff, like you can't really get into it. So when we do the energetic work and people experience it, like all the employees, like it was really interesting. The men, especially, like they were like, their British accent, like, no way, like, no way. When you said open your eyes, my mind was completely clear. Like, what is this? And so they really started to like have those breaks during their time for the employees to do some of these techniques just to release that extra energy in a very simple way. And just those things allow people to come into work and to not have that energy of franticness, that energy of stress. When you can see something that would usually stress you out, and you can see it from a place of calm and clarity, and a place of, like you said, authentic self is less likely to doubt itself. An authentic self is less likely to question itself in a way, where you stop yourself from taking action, or you like second guess, and so things don't get done. So it just allows people to have much more clarity, much more creativity. And when they're recharged too, it creates much less work, like conflict, because people aren't like acting out their stress and taking it out on each other, and so I think that that is a great tool. And I think it's a shame that, we always treat meditation and yoga and wellness as like it's separate to the workplace. And so I would love to help to find ways that we can bring it into our everyday life instead of making it, something that happens far away at a retreat center. Like, how do we bring that into everything that you do? How can you bring that presence and that peace?
Yes, and we can. Yes, we can.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, Brennan, I hope that we'll get a sample of this encounter of ECM.
Yes.
Yay, lovely, lovely. So, lead us into this experience that has touched so many lives, and you can focus on anything that you would like for just a few moments, maybe 3 or 5 minutes or so. I know
Okay.
that's a short span of time for your for your
No, it's
bandwidth.
fine.
Yeah, let's go for 5 minutes. And how should we prepare?
So the most important thing is just to be comfortable. If you can sit, like you don't have to sit any particular way, but you'll want to sit with your hands open like this. And I just want everyone to take a moment and just open your hands like this, like at about your heart center. And I just want you to look at your hands. And I want you to just marvel at them for a moment. Just think and feel appreciation for how much these hands have done. I want you to trace over every line, every groove, and every print. And as your eyes move across the texture of your hand, I want you to imagine that every cell of your hand were coming alive. They are alive, but you could feel them like they were buzzing. Now bring your left hand down to face open on your lap and take your right hand and place it on the left side of your chest, on your heart, and close your eyes. Just become aware of the rise and fall of your chest as air comes into your lungs very naturally and is released. Now I'm going to show you a technique that I call plugging in. And it uses a little bit of imagination, and the imagination is powerful. So I want you to embrace using your imagination and to be playful with it. And you're also going to use your inner X-ray vision. So we're going to imagine that we could see the inside of your body. So again, that's a bit of imagination. Now feel that right hand. Feel as if you could sense every cell of your hand like it were alive. And every cell on the skin of your hand was like a cord or a plug. So there are millions of little plugs there in your hand, and they are charged and electric. Now these plugs are starting to move down into this area where your hand is. Feel them as they go through your clothing and your skin and the bone of your chest, passing over your physical organ, your heart, as it beats in your chest, passing through towards the spinal cord. And all of these million plugs have now plugged into this section of your spinal cord. And you can feel this transference of energy as the awareness in your hand moves through these cords to the spine. And now that we're plugged into this section of the spine, I want you to just ask a question. Who am I? And feel as though your body were like an advanced computer and it were processing this question. Who am I? Now feel your awareness move from the spine back up those cords, passing over every layer of tissue, sailing through your precious heart, up through the muscle, the skin, and the bone, and connecting back to your hand. And so the question here, who am I, we will now answer as you breathe into this connection, this plugging in between the spinal cord and your hand. Using your inner voice, you can just say, I am awareness. I am awareness. Now take your right hand and press the center of your palm at the very center, top of your head. And imagine that beneath your hand, there were a seed. And when I tell you to lift your hand, this seed is going to blossom into the most beautiful flower that you have ever seen. But before we do that, I want you to speak to your life force energy, the energy that is alive within you, and say, life force energy, please help me experience meditation. And then slowly lift your hand and let it hover about 6 inches above your head. And imagine that flower growing. Now bring your right hand down to sit open on your lap. both hands open on your lap, but focus all of your attention, all of your awareness on that flower as it grows, and just sit. Now, keeping your awareness on that flower, slowly open your eyes and sit with your eyes open without focusing on any particular point. Just keep your awareness on that flower, but have your eyes open. So that is the very short version of this experience, a very shortened version. And I hope that you could just feel more presence, more connected with your body. That's this plugging in method. And there's a lot of different points that we can plug into. And there's a lot of different techniques that you can use to deepen that experience. And the reason that we open our eyes is because I want my clients to practice bringing that meditative state into the world, not keeping it as this place that we only retreat into, but seeing the world through the eyes of meditation and trying to bring that vibration into the world. And so the closing of the eyes is really like charging, and then the opening of the eyes is really like bringing and embodying that into your space and into the world around you. So that was the purpose of that.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you for
Yeah.
that gift and the share. And I really did struggle to come back. I was like, no, no, no.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Me too. And I was like, oh, time. Okay, time is there.
Yes, yes, Ashe. Thank you, thank you. We acknowledge you. We acknowledge your gift. We acknowledge even just the courage that it's taken to devise this system that's touching lives and helping people to connect. And we know it is going to flourish and thrive. And it is certainly welcome here in our midst and in this space in any capacity that you would like. And for those who are tuning in and getting a chance to experience the ECM system for the first time, we do hope to be able to offer this again. And then who knows in the future, near or far, offer this in person at one of our wellness retreats or a workshop, wherever spirit leads for us to connect. And so ask questions, inquire more, connect with Brennan on social media, through his website, and on all platforms where he's reachable, and really sit with um, this encounter as well as his offerings to see if this is for you, because I do believe he has an opportunity for those who would like to go deeper into this work to learn more about the system and do a training. Is that right, Brennan?
Yeah, so right now I have openings in my inner alignment course, which is a 12-week intensive course. And so it's got what we meet twice a week, 90 minutes, an hour to 90 minutes of lecture. So there's actually a lot to learn. We'll be learning about the whole energy system and then 2 hours of practicum. So like this is like a workshop and a group coaching. So the group coaching is where you're going to build an energy work toolkit. So I teach people how to use everyday household items to deal with the different types of energy that might come up. So throughout the practicums, it's using things like ice, candles, lemons, chilies, salt water, warm or cold, and ice packs, like all of these different everyday items that you can use. You don't have to go to a wellness center to buy them. And so these are things that you can use and you'll practice using them on a day-to-day basis. But not only that, also includes a lot of mindset work and journaling and reflecting. And really, this is for people who want to meditate, but also feel like they have a purpose in the world. So we really help people who are purpose-driven entrepreneurs or creators, or people who feel like they want to step into creating or being in entrepreneurship in some sort of capacity in order to give back to the world. So through the meditation and the realization of self, it's about, okay, now that you've realized who you really are, what your powers are, how do they belong in the world? Because I really do believe that our gifts are not ours and they do belong out in the world. And if we are hoarding them for ourselves, it's a disservice to the world. So it's about really mastering this system, mastering this practice, and seeing how the you that you discover through a true meditative practice can be in the world and of the world and uplifting the world as that self. So that's really what this course is about.
Lovely. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, to wrap our segment up, I'd love to invite you to share any last thoughts, lasting thoughts, words, or tell us where we can connect with you before we head out.
Mm, the last words I want to say is this knowledge is ancient and it is old and it is a gift that has been passed down through generation and generation. And for it to arrive here at this iteration is perhaps the most important thing that we can recognize, because many of us come from lineages that have been hurt and we carry within our DNA trauma and pain and programmings that are ending in this lifetime and ending in this era. And this knowledge and this capacity and this ability to work on yourself on an energetic level is incredibly sacred and it's incredibly important. And so, more than wanting to do it for yourself, I would invite you to want to do it for the world. Because when you, and I know it sounds woo and mystical, but really, when you are able to lift your vibration, every single person is caught in that web of entropy. So the person that you say hello to on the street, the stranger that you shake hands with or open the door for them, will be impacted by the presence that you will be able to embody. So it is my mission on this earth to spread this knowledge until my last breath and do everything that I can. And I dedicate this work to all of my ancestors who have perished and who have struggled, so that I can have the privilege of first being able to heal in ways that they never did, and second, to be an ambassador of this great lineage of knowledge that has been asleep, I would say. So I would invite you to feel the gravity of such a work, and to take it with a grain of seriousness, as well with playfulness. And like the blossoming of that flower on your head, be open to see what blossoms in your being, in your life, in your personality from a practice such as this. And so, yeah, to find more, there's a lot to learn. You can look for my stuff at brennanlagman.com. You can follow me at Brennan Lagman on Facebook or Instagram. I've kept it really easy. And definitely feel free to ask me any questions or share your experience if it's something that you, even if you felt something very small, there's a lot more to discover. I can promise you that. So that's all I have to say.
And what a thing to say. Whew. I feel so
Yeah.
lifted. Yes, yes, yes. That's a manifesto. I felt that. I felt it. I really did. All right, you all, it's been real. Whether you're tuning in by way of Spotify, iTunes, or you're here on YouTube with us to encounter this ECM system meditation and Brennan himself, we thank you for tuning in. Please do all the things that are shared today and be sure to connect with him and be sure for you to continue to treat, support, and invigorate your human bodies. Be body.
Bye. Thank you.